The Paris Agreement, by and large, focused on carbon dioxide, which is the pollutant you get when you burn trees or when you burn fossil fuel. That contributes carbon dioxide, about 50% of the global warming we are experiencing. So that's why we are focusing on that. But it's generally forgotten the other 50% comes from pollutants, which are sometimes air pollution, and refrigerants. Hydrofluorocarbon is one of them. The interesting thing about this other 40% is that they're much easier to get rid of. And the second thing is their lifetime. For example, black carbon from diesel, which is 2,000 times more potent than carbon dioxide, its lifetime is just a week. And if the whole world puts diesel particulate filter and goes to low sulfur diesel, that warming from black carbon or soot is gone in 2 weeks. And the other potent gas is methane, which is 25 times more potent than CO2. And that comes from leaking gas pipes, leaks from landfills. In California, we know how to recover that methane, you use it as fuel. And the third is hydrofluorocarbon. That was my original discovery in 1975, that there are pollutants other than this CO2. The HFCs is used as refrigerants. They're about 2,000 to 4,000 times more potent. That's one of the most atrocious things the planet is doing. We don't need HFCs for refrigerants. There are other fantastic refrigerants which have no effect on ozone, no effect on climate. So my work, fortunately, was read by then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and the head of UNEP, Achim Steiner. So they formed the Climate and Clean Air Coalition, which now I'm on their advisory panel, which have 80 countries, member nations. And what we showed, using existing technologies to cut down methane emissions, to cut down black carbon emissions, to eliminate HFCs, would cut down the projected rate of warming by 50% within the next 25 years. So I think this slowly is getting in. UNFCCC would talk about this in Morocco. So we have two levers to pull. One is the carbon dioxide lever. We have to focus on that. But to see the effect on climate from pulling the CO2 lever, it's going to take at least 50 years. We won't see because it's so slow. The other lever, which is the short-lived climate pollutants. So what we are proposing, we need to pull the short-lived climate pollutant lever to get immediate relief from climate change and give policymakers and technologies time to put in the CO2 measure so that throughout the century we can keep the climate stable. What's happening in Spain was a leader in solar energy until a few years ago. And suddenly the policies have changed for reasons which are confusing to me. But if you think 20, 30 years ahead, solar, wind, and renewables like hydrogen, that's the way to solve the problem. Like I said yesterday, I see the climate change problem in a very simple term. Fossil fuel has become an outdated technology. And Spain has abundance of sunshine. Obviously, solar is not going to work for a country like Scandinavia. If you go further north, there is not much sunlight for 4 to 6 months. I think of countries like Spain could become the major exporter of energy. Like Saudi Arabia's fossil fuels, you could become the energy power for Europe. And then there are smart grids. I'm frequently asked the question, oh, solar, what are you going to do in the night? There is storage problem. What do you do when there's rain? And in where I come from, University of California, the solution is when the sun is abundant, use that to produce hydrogen. Simple process called hydrolysis. And then you burn the hydrogen. You have hydrogen cars here. So I'm not trying to trivialize it. There are some development required. But Spain could become the powerhouse for Europe. One thing you have from southern to north Spain, sunlight throughout the year.